Hey, welcome to my channel. I am Dr. Shareece. I made a video a while back about how I didn't know what the average man was. Like, what are the things under average man? I thought I used to know, but I have some more information. I saw this video by a YouTuber. I have it linked in the description about asking ChatGPT what the average man was. And I had already been having some thoughts about encouraging women to be in partnerships with men and how I don't date the average man. I don't think I'm an average woman. And so I don't date an average man. But I think now more than ever, right, with the rise of feminine energy, the divine feminine coming back, us not being oppressed so much, women entering the education and just having our own money and access has changed some of the dynamics between men and women. And while women have changed a lot in the last 30, 100 years, men have not really changed that much. In fact, I think at this point they've stagnated and sort of gotten lost in the sauce. Like, oh my gosh, we don't have access to women. We are going to blow things up. Like, we're going to just do craziness instead of really work on themselves being better. So part of my messaging, not most of it, right? Part of my messaging is going to change. I do believe in love. I believe in relationships. I think men are great. I think the average man, maybe not so great, not necessarily harmful, but that I want to stress that there are certain requirements that I think it's very, 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 very important for you to get from a man before you decide to share your body with him, partner with him, merge your finances with him, go into business with him. That includes a marriage license. Just to consider all of the things and be even more strict, have even more standards. Because now I'm thinking that high standards for women really are good standards, not like unrealistic standards. I don't know what the unrealistic are because I'm not talking about 6'5", $100,000. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about values, like the average man's values. I want him to show you certain things because men with a lot of money can be absolute menaces to society, as we have seen. I want you to consider the actual character of the man and for him to prove to you in certain ways that he respects women, that he sees women as full human beings, that he thinks children should have their own agency and that their interests matter and that their opinions matter, that he doesn't have to dominate everything or control everything, that there doesn't have to be a hierarchy in you all's relationship where he is authoritarian, right? That there will be some things you all disagree on, some things that he sacrifices or you sacrifice, but he's not the, person ordering, making all the orders for what you need to do, and your life is like secondary to his. I think those things need to be in place. But I wanted to clearly define what an average man is in this video. And then in some of my other videos moving forward, what I would love for you to pay more attention to when it comes to dating men, cis hetero men, especially Black men, if you are living in America, but honestly everywhere in the world, men are coming to this reckoning, different times, depending on the country, but they all have to contend with sexual discipline. They all do. They all do. Okay? That testosterone is something else. So let's watch and I'll share some thoughts with you. I want to do a comparison of average because my boyfriend is not average. Average to what an above average man does, not from ChatGPT, but from my real life.
I'm not that interesting, and a lot of these men don't have a lot going on with their life. That's why they're so miserable. That's why they're so angry. So I asked ChatGPT, please describe the typical day of the average man. Okay, and I said average Western single man because I didn't want ChatGPT to include married men or men that had a family or live with a girlfriend. I just wanted ChatGPT to describe the day in the life of the average Western single man in their 30s and 40s, basically. So this is what ChatGPT had to say. 7 to 7:30 a.m. He wakes up to an alarm, often snoozes once or twice. First reaction, grab his phone. That's the first thing he does. Scroll Instagram, Reddit, YouTube, or TikTok. Maybe check dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. If he stayed up late, he might already be tired. 7:30 to 8:30.
Hold on, that's just the very first morning. My boyfriend and I met on Hinge, but he doesn't like believe in online dating. He was on there for 2 weeks. Like first and ever time being on dating apps, he was on there for 2 weeks. So he's not like on, so like he has social media accounts. The one he uses the most probably is LinkedIn, but he's not he's definitely not checking things first thing in the morning. He's praying first thing in the morning, sitting with himself, not sitting, he does it all in bed. There is no rush to pick up his phone. He actually doesn't have an alarm. He gets up at the same time. Just his body naturally gets up. He doesn't go back to sleep, right? He's awake, and he's getting up to do something. Shower or get ready for work. He's already set out his clothes from the night before. So he's up and out fairly quickly in his morning. He doesn't eat breakfast. He really only eats like one meal a day, and that's at the after work at the end of the day.
Quick hygiene plus breakfast, maybe. So some shower daily, some don't. Skincare routine, usually minimal. He might grab coffee, energy drink, or skip breakfast if he eats.
When it comes to the skincare routine, I think most men have minimal skincare routines, but as you get older, or as you eat certain things or whatever, I think it's important to know what's helpful and what's not helpful. They market strange things to men, but when men respect the opinions of women, they ask for assistance or help on things that they don't know a lot about. So he has his sisters, he has me, he has previous women that he's had in his life that have helped him develop a skincare routine that works for him. He does like to multitask. He has like a thing with time. He does like to multitask, but he definitely has a skincare routine. It's probably like 2 or 3 things, but there is a hygiene and skincare routine. This one never stinks.
It's often cereal, toast, or fast food on the way to work. So much is adding up. Now you see why they want women. So between 8:30 and 9 a.m., if he works in office, he commutes likely by car or transit, listening to music, a podcast, because they love the podcast, or sports talk. If he works remote,
My boyfriend doesn't listen to podcasts. The podcasts are dangerous. Those male-centered podcasts are funnels to like extremist right-wing type rhetoric. I don't want to say don't listen to the podcast, but really pay attention to something that feeds your soul. I forget. Oh my gosh, he talks about this one speaker all the time. All of the popular speakers, like they're all saying the same thing. I like Abraham Hicks, but even she says the same things as people before her. Like every generation has people that share positive information. And so that's one of the things my boyfriend like re-listens to this same guy who talks. It's not about money. It's a lot about money, but it's also about character development and discipline and being consistent. So that's his funnel. The funnel is self-improvement, right? He does a lot on leadership and self-improvement, which I think helps interact with other people in real life, but also informs your value system so that you are not repeating the same talking points from other people about how they are the problem when usually they're blaming women. Women are the problem. I promise you, women are not your problem. Women aren't the problem. If you want to blame anyone, I would blame whites, cis, hetero, Christian, what men. I would blame those specific people. But even then, there's still a way to succeed in this system where you can acknowledge that there are people who are making it harder for other people to succeed, but you don't allow that to stop you from living the life of your dreams. You can. And if women can do it, men, the way men have made this world for themselves, men can do it. I promise you. Do it in a certain way, but you can do it. And I think that's part of why so many men are angry, because how dare you? Like, how dare you women do it? How dare you get it done when this is so hard for me? You don't understand how hard it is to be a man. And I understand patriarchy harms men too. And they put really rigid rules and rigid rules on what it is that they are allowed to do versus not allowed to do, right? Like anything that's anywhere near being perceived as gay is like you can't do it. But you can unlearn some of those things and say, I reject that. I'm not gay, and it really doesn't matter what other men think about me. I'm not doing this to impress other men. I'm living life on my own terms. I just don't think many men have broken out of that matrix. They're literally living life as a performance to impress other men and to make sure other men don't think they're gay or weak or feminine when who cares what they who cares what they think? I mean, is it really stopping you from being in community with actually good people? That's my thought.
He may just roll from bed to the laptop. So 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., he does the minimum to keep his job secure. So even men knows that you should do the bare minimum. And this is what I've been telling you. Like,
the average man, according to ChatGPT, does the minimum to keep his job secure. That does sound like the average worker in America. It, when people start talking about how to build wealth in America, a lot of it is you're not going to get it by doing the bare minimum. You're not going to get it working for other people. You're not going to get it by just spending, right? Or even just saving. You're not going to build wealth by just saving or doing like being a cog in the machine. That's not how you're going to live the life of your dreams. You got to be smarter about it. And taking some pride in your work, I think also leads you to be noticed more by people and then to get leadership positions or salary increases, things like that. I would not really, I mean, unless it's two mediocre people next to each other, but I do want to, this is the time to insert a graphic. The problem here, right? Because when we're comparing, when I'm comparing, but I think when most women, most people on the internet who are talking about, how the average man, I don't think is enough for a partnership with the average woman. I'm specifically talking about how much more ahead emotionally the average woman is than the average man, how the average woman is requiring, I think you're requiring, maybe not much, but requiring more than money. Like you also have to divide labor in certain ways and not just the physical labor of cooking and cleaning, but also the mental labor of who's getting the groceries and who's taking the kids to school and who is communicating with the teacher and who is making the doctor appointments and all that stuff. Like that load also needs to be shared, which I don't think the average man is primed or has been trained by his mother to make those sorts of decisions or participate in that kind of way in a relationship. And so when we look at the average woman and the average man, they're not here, right? They're separate. And so I strongly encourage women. Now I'm strongly encouraging women to stay single if you cannot get a man who's similar to where you are. Now you see some of those I do think that the bell curves for men and women, the average overlaps. And so there are many men, but they're not the majority of men. They are not most men. Most men I do think are just kind of getting by. Just kind of getting by. And I don't think she mentions it. I don't think ChatGPT mentions like drugs, but I do think alcohol, marijuana, what else do people use? Whatever substance people are using to also check out of their lives, I think is often a part of what the average man is doing.
men always put themselves first and always.
My boyfriend has worked his way up in certain things, not just with salary increases, but also his leadership position. Now, everyone cannot be a leader, but I do think it's about doing things in a certain way to live the life you want. Because if you say on your own terms, I'm going to do this job to the best of my ability, it's going to help fund my lifestyle, what I really want to do, that's one thing. But if you're just sort of existing in a role, not really trying or working hard or have a vision, ooh, what you gonna do with a woman?
Choose a path of least resistance. The average man, okay? Because not a lot, just because we believe that men love a challenge, that doesn't mean that every man wants a challenge, okay? So some are ambitious, but many feel underpaid and unmotivated. So at his work, he is online browsing and using distractions like Reddit, YouTube, Discord, podcasts. This is common. So if his work is intense, like he's just basically grinding to get through it. So 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., just after lunch, and he's still working. So he wraps a task, attends meetings, watches the clock. If he's into a hobby or side hustle, he might sneak in some planning or research. Most are just enjoying the job. So now we move on to 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and it's the end of work, decompress. He logs off or gets home. This is when many men just sit on the couch, at the computer, or in bed. A lot of screen time starts here. If you go to the gym, it's usually now, but only a minority of average men are consistent.
Again, I don't think average men have a lot of screen time. I think they use their after work time as another way to be productive. Either it's intentional rest or it's doing something in the yard. It's working on a side project. It's doing something in their community. My boyfriend he has a long commute, long, like 45 hour, too long. He does not like him. Wants to move, whatever. Has a long commute. Once he gets home, it's dinner, and then if he's not working on he always has a project that's going on. Either it's a separate work project that's taking more time. It is a mentor who's asked him to do something. It is like a personal or spiritual project that he's working on, or it's something in the community, right? We always check in after work, but he usually has to go and do things. I also usually have to go and do things, whether that's cook, because that's part of what I like to do. My boyfriend also hires someone to cook for him. So he doesn't have to think about cooking. The food is there, he heats it up, and he's ready to go so that he can do other things.
With exercise. Then we move on to 6:30 to 8 p.m. dinner, and dinner is usually simple, like takeout, microwave food, or something basic like pasta.
He does exercise too, not as much as I personally would like, but not, I don't want to say not as much. He probably exercises very consistently 3 days a week, depending on the weather. He likes to hike Stone Mountain, if you know Stone Mountain in Atlanta. He also has a treadmill, but he doesn't do any weight training. I do wish he did weight training, but the cost benefit, because I mean, this is a man in finance. He doesn't like see the value. Like, I can do other things to get me like the health or the stamina that I enjoy, but I still think he needs to weight train. But he moves his body. He's like very normal weight. Not normal weight. He's very slim. Yeah, he's very slim, right? He doesn't carry excess fat. Uh yeah, but he's also not muscular, which is like but he's got a good workout thing going on. Very health conscious. He's an African man. We like to say I'm an African man. So he also eats a lot of whole foods and foods from his country. No fast food. Not that no fast food, but this man don't stop at fast food places. Maybe we get fast food together sometimes, but it's like rare that he eats fast food. He does like those chicken nuggets from Burger King, but rare fast food is rare, rare.
Grilled meat or eggs. Few cook elaborate meals unless they enjoy it. So that's some guys really are into cooking. Not all guys. Often they eat in front of a screen. Loneliness might creep in here, but it's numb by entertainment and then maybe swiping on Tinder. Now evening routine, which is
lonely might creep in here. My boyfriend doesn't watch TV shows, like really. He really likes soccer, so when soccer is on, he'll watch that. But not a lot of screen time. This is a man that will have my message, my reel sitting for 3 days in Instagram before he thinks of checking it again. I've learned to not be offended by that. Like, it is what it is. He doesn't really. If I want to get him immediately, call him, text him. Don't send anything on social media because he's not really going to. He's not going to check it. His notifications are not on for that sort of thing.
After dinner, prime leisure time, gaming, porn.
He does have hobbies though, right? He likes loud music and dancing. He really likes to dance. So when we weren't together, I mean, he still does it now, but I think he just did it more when we're not together. Part of his after dinner routine was to go to a bar, to hang out, to go to a dancing spot and enjoy himself. I feel like those were more like weekend things, but I think they were like a regular part of his weekly routine. He still does it now, but it's not like as much as he was doing it before because he was definitely enjoying. He liked the music, but let's not play. This is a man that really enjoys women's company.
YouTube, Discord, Twitch, podcasts, TV shows, dating apps.
I don't know. My stance on porn has been the same for a while. This video is sponsored by me. Check out my website, spiritsoulsense.com, for a couple of free downloads. I also have my poetry ebook for sale, and you can also purchase my artwork and merch to help support my channel. I don't think the average man should consume on a regular basis. I don't think you should. I don't think your brains were built for it. I don't think it's healthy for you. So it is the same way, like, I think you can enjoy video games, but like playing 3 hours of video games on a regular basis, like every week, I don't know. I don't think that was, I think you were supposed to be doing other things. I think there are other things that would probably benefit you more. Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think there is a, for the average man, I don't think it's a healthy way to consume porn. I don't know that there is. I don't know. I don't know all the men. I just don't think it's a good idea to add that as part of your normal routine, like every week, or I don't even think you should be doing it every week, multiple times a week, like engaging in porn, like longer than 2 minutes. Like, what are you? I just don't think that's good for your brain. I don't. I would much prefer you have a friend with benefits than, because that's more, that's real. Her body is real. Her consent to you is real. The interactions are real. You know what I mean? The all that other stuff. There's so much dark stuff on there. I just, I would encourage men to stay away from it.
This is their life every day, like they are in a loop. Some scroll endlessly. A few might go out for drinks with friends, and ChatGPT said a few, okay? And if they do go out to drink with friends, it's usually on the weekends. If he's dating, this is when he may.
Men do need friends, and my hot button topic now is men need to be more compassionate to other men. The loneliness epidemic is not going to be solved by women. Women are not solving that problem. Get us out of it. Women are not solving it. We're not solving it. Men need to figure out how they can build community with their brothers, with their fellow men who have similar experiences to them. Y'all need friends. Y'all need to talk about your feelings. That's what y'all need. You don't need to partner with a woman. You need to figure out how to regulate yourself, how to interact with other people as humans, how to actually build like camaraderie. That's what you need to do.
Chat with, matches, or go on dates. Many are not actively dating but still want connection, often frustrated or detached. Then we move on to late night drift. Even if he meant to sleep at 11, he's probably still watching something or gaming past midnight, feels drained but not ready to face tomorrow. Maybe reflects briefly on life purpose, loneliness, but he numbs it out again. At 1 a.m., this is sleep time, finally crashes, sometimes after porn, sometimes while scrolling in bed. Sleep hygiene is poor. Tomorrow will be more or less the same. So ChatGPT, many single men live in quiet resignation, numb, isolated, often disconnected from community, purpose, or ambition. Some are content, but many are lonely and don't admit it, or they don't have the emotional vocabulary to describe what they feel. So that is what ChatGPT said. ChatGPT is basically ratting them out.
I think the poor sleep hygiene is wild. I think that's wild. I think 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock is a good bedtime for an adult. After that, I think you're edging, unless you function well off of 4 hours, right? Because the average number of hours people need is 8. Maybe you need 4, 5. Some people need 10, 12. It depends. If you need like a good 8 hours of sleep, 12, 1 o'clock is way too late to be getting up when you work like normal work hours. I think that's too late and already kind of sets your day up for you to be lethargic or to not like have interest or energy to get things done. The back to the loneliness, the sort of quiet resignation that it's too hard to succeed, all of those things is a mindset shift. If you listen to certain people, if you make certain changes in your life, if you tap into what are you here on earth to do, you can get rid of those things, right? Because those are a story you're telling yourself based on the feedback that you got from society. You can improve your life. And the way I would love for the average man to work on catching up to what is average for women is pursuing your purpose. It's like decentering women, not making things all about what your dick is doing or how many women you can get or how can you feel better, like feed your ego, feel better about yourself when you don't really like your life. I want you to focus on liking your life and not making it about what women are doing or not doing or how they're not showing up for you or how you can't get the woman that you want. Forget all that. You can have a great life even if you are not in a relationship with a woman. You don't, and if your life is not great and you can't get a woman anyway, it will behoove you to spend time figuring out, what do I actually like about life? What vision can I create for myself? What can I do? And then you work your way back. How do I do it? Anything you want has been done before. Anything you want has been done before by somebody who had less. There's a certain way to do it. You can do it too. Go to therapy, get a journal, watch inspirational podcasts, not the podcast bros. Don't listen to people who are talking about relationships. I mean, unless they are talking about love and respect and character and values. If they're talking about that, then yeah. If they're talking about men are the problem, women are the problem. See, the problem is single mothers. See, the problem is dusties. If they're talking about those things, no, no, no. It's not going to help you. What you need to do is focus on what do I want? What's going to make me happy? You tap into the God inside of you so that you can feel connected to something bigger than you as you are also in real life building community. Definition of average men. And we'll see in another 10 years, I think. I do think we're going to have to wait to see in another 10 years. Like my son is turning 18. When my son is 28, I do think things are going to be different. I know my son is a lot different than how most boys are raised, but I think there are more women like me who have already decentered men, love men, have a whole relationship with a man who's obsessed with me, but decentered men. I don't worship them. My life doesn't revolve around them. So I've taught my son to also value himself, value his body, value other people, to have good character, to stand up for himself, to be confident, to be a good person. Okay? It could all be so simple. To be a good person so that he can contribute to society in a positive, meaningful way while also fulfilling, right? Feeling fulfilled with the way he's living his life. So yeah, we'll see. But then he'll probably be more relationship serious minded or solidified in like whatever, like career path he's wanting to take. I think we'll see. And a lot of those people, like Trump will be dead. Like a lot of those people, I think will be smaller voices in the zeitgeist. So we'll see. But really it is like probably is like 10 years to see the benefits of the conversations that are shifting now as the defined feminine is rising. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like this video, share it with somebody who needs information or wants information or whatever. Just help me get the message out so that people can understand we can improve things together, one person at a time, and that you don't have to be average in a way that's going to stop you from getting what you want. You can do things in a certain way. Okay. Thank you for watching.